way that you've seen this team play now the last couple games, what are you building off of that's worked well?
Our habits, our standards, how hard we play, how we compete together, a defensive focus, where we're trying to move that needle there, an intensity on that end of the floor. I think we're moving the needle there some. Then an overall mentality of just our offensive identity, ball movement, pace, and no matter what, whoever steps on the floor, it's their job to produce. And now we have healthy bodies, and what's going to separate, lineups is going to be how hard you play, how you compete, how you perform when you have your shot.
With Zion coming off the bench, is that something that you're going to stick with here for a little while?
I don't know yet.
What did you like about it?
Well, I think he was fresh to close the game, that he was able to find rhythm throughout the game without having his full amount of minutes. He was able to close in a more controlled setting. I didn't feel rushed to get him back in or jam in, 8 or 9 minutes into the fourth quarter. We were able to close in a way that he was fresh and efficient.
Hey, JD, you've been doing this for like a month now. I think yesterday I guess was 1 month. But what are some things that you really like about the progress in that month? And what are some things that you think that y'all still need to really work on?
I think the biggest thing is just their buy-in, their trust to one another, how hard they're playing, their competitive spirit, their commitment to get better every day and stick to the process. I think they're building good habits. I think it's more about that. I love, the results to be better. Obviously, we put together 2 good wins, but for me right now, it's more about the process of building good habits and building an identity. And they bought into that, and I'm seeing that reflected in games, in practice. And they're just a joy to be around. I mean, there's a joy about them right now, and so they bring energy to me when I walk in the gym, and hopefully I do the same for them.
Does it feel like a month to you? Does it seem like
longer?
It's been that long?
No, I don't know. It's been a minute. Yeah, it feels like that, but they're just a joy to be around, and it's an infectious spirit right now.
And go back to Z real quick. His rotation, his minutes, is it entirely dependent on what the performance staff gives you on what you're basically allowed to do with him?
Well,
there's
you
talk about wanting to plan.
Well, there's a number, right? There's a number that I'm trying to work with, and I'm just trying to maximize the number. Z's got a number of gold coins that I can use. I want to just be most efficient with the gold coins I have. That's it. Nothing tricky. That's all I have, So finding best way to maximize those minutes right now. If those minutes change, could it change, how I allot those coins? Yes. Yeah, it could change.
And you also said after the last game that it felt like Z was more fluid, like the offense, everything, especially down the end of the stretch, nothing felt forced. Can you go into more detail what you exactly meant by that?
Well, I thought we ran good stuff down the stretch. I think we were poised. We got the shots we wanted. We weren't sped up. We weren't out of control. We talked about it today. We did some end-of-game stuff today as well. But, we're really focused on handling those moments of pressure. When the pressure rises and teams, most times in general, when you watch an NBA game, energy and defense picks up in the fourth quarters, right? They play at a certain pace. Then there comes this moment when it's about 4 or 5 minutes in the game. Everybody's energy and pressure rises for the most part. Can we stay poised in those moments and still execute our stuff? And I think that's what we're showing over the last couple of games is just this purpose, intensity, and control to get the shots we want and run our stuff versus letting the defense dictate that pressure. So I think that's been an area of growth for us.
2 games in, what have you liked about Jordan Poole's his return?
Well, I think just his impact on the game is tremendous. Just how he can score the ball, stretch the defense, make plays, and then he can go on a big run by himself. He could, turn a 2-point game into a 6-point game or an 8-point game quickly on both ends, of the floor. So, and then I think he's coming with the right mentality. He's not trying to force it. He's trying to play within our system, be a team guy, which is what we need. He's got to be a guy that is willing to sacrifice and play, with his teammates. He's done a great job of that. I don't see anything being forced right now.
It seems like Jeremiah Fears just gets better with every game. What are your thoughts on his play?
Yeah, there's a maturity to him. There's a maturity in game management. I think his game management's getting better. Taking what the defense gives him. He's not forcing every possession. If the game calls to pass the ball and kick the ball, he kicks the ball. I love his pace. He's setting the tone for us in transition, obviously end to end. Make and miss, he's pushing the pace for us. And then I was really proud of the way he closed the fourth quarter. That was a very mature close for a young guy. I didn't feel like any of his possessions were rushed or forced. He was poised, made big shots, obviously, but he made the right play. The big kick out that got us a wide open three in the corner. Those are very mature plays for a young guy.
You mentioned after the win Sunday that you want to. The goal needs to be a defensive team. Have that be part of the identity. Obviously, that was a good performance Sunday defensively. What do you think are some of the areas that you can point to of saying like the improvements? There have been improvements that have been made in recent games.
Well, the low-hanging fruit for this team defensively is transition defense number one. Can we just get our defense set and not give up the rim and dunks and layups and wide open threes in transition, period? Like, that's the low-hanging fruit to me. That's not unacceptable if we're giving up that in transition. Secondly is the board. Like, if we can take care of the easy stuff, clean up the board, the second chance opportunities, only give teams one shot, that's another layer. Those two areas, if we could just improve those two areas, we're going to see an uptick in our defense. The third layer, I would say, is just the one-on-one drive. There's accountability on this group right now to guard the ball one-on-one. And if you're not, there's accountability on it. Everybody knows how much you're getting blown by, or if you're doing a great job on the ball. There's clarity in that. The fourth layer would be our pick and roll defense, which has been a really poor area for this team all season. We're trying to clean up the pick and roll defense, the one-on-one defense, the transition defense, and then limiting teams to one shot. If we move the needle in all those areas, we should be a much improved defense.
Is there anything to there's a ton of more, a lot more off time right now. Is there anything to getting wins and then being able to sit in them with the extra days off?
As I said, winning does validate. I don't want our gym to feel different, though, whether we win or we lose. If your culture is your culture and you say you're about what you say you're about, it shouldn't matter the result. That we come into this gym, win or lose, and look the same way. The gym should feel like this, sound like this, whether we win or we lose, period. Does a win help validate what you're doing? It does. You need a little bit of that jolt. And maybe there's a little bit of an extra jolt after a win, no doubt. But I don't want that to take away from what we're trying to do day to day. And that's the process we're trying to build. And it doesn't happen overnight. I keep saying it's like there's no fairy dust for this. You just got to keep doing it every day. And it may not happen right now, but we just keep pounding away on this rock, and over time, your culture becomes that. And that's really what allows you to go through a losing streak at times. It sustains you, it sustains you through the highs and lows of this NBA season. Your culture and that energy sustains you. So, but I'll take wins. Wins always help.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody.